This time on Star Trek Enterprise, we get to go talk to some folks around a big table. Then we get to shoot some folks. Then we get to go see Jeffrey. And Jeffrey's pretty cool. And then, we get the cliffhanger that stopped them getting canceled for another season.
Yes. Get some,
Nazi, zombie, alien. Not zombie, vampire. Not vampire aliens.
Yes.
They're weird. I think they're called the Nakul. And they're pretty cool.
Yes.
Other than the Nazi part. The Nazi part's not cool.
And then we'll see them next week. Well, finish it off next week.
Yes. We're going to finish them off next week.
Yeah, that as well.
And then we'll be done with the Temporal Cold War after over 3 seasons.
Yep.
Took a while. It was a long road.
Because they were told, you gotta end it now.
It's a long road getting from there to here.
It's been a long time, or it hasn't been a very short time. It's unclear with temporal Cold Wars.
Time might not have even started.
But anyway, yeah, today's episodes are The Council, which is talky, The Countdown, which is... What happens in Countdown? Is it more talking?
Probably, given this issue. Yes, it's quite talky.
Okay. And then 0 Hours Jeffrey. That's the important one.
Yes.
So how's the weather?
Oh, it's quite nice at the moment. Nice and sunny, you know.
No. Gross.
It is quite warm now. Well, in comparison.
We've got a solid 53 degrees, or for you, 12 degrees. Nice and cloudy. Oh, and it looks like there's going to be rain this week. All of this week.
Yeah, it's going to be rain. This week is... What was it next week?
What about you, Gyrinx? Is it going to be raining the next few days?
I'm not sure.
Why aren't you sure?
I don't know. It doesn't usually affect me.
Yes, and it's 17 degrees here, Celsius. 17, high of 19.
Cool. So do you guys like asparagus?
No. No, very much no.
Oh.
I hate it. But yeah, it's sort of thing. I just hated it forever. And it's just sort of inborn in me that I hate it. I don't know.
Okay.
Got in green beans.
I went through a phase like 2 years ago where I was eating a lot of asparagus, and then like one spear of asparagus that I cooked was all like gross and slimy, and it just completely turned me off it for a while.
Oh.
But I'm trying it again. I got some asparagus in the fridge, and I'm gonna roast it, and it's gonna be great and not slimy.
Not sure I ever had asparagus before.
You should have some asparagus. You roast it, you put some vegetable oil when you roast it, cover it in salt and pepper.
And then your pea turns colors.
All the
There are
colors of
some
the
side
rainbow.
effects to asparagus, but it's pretty good.
I mean,
not the side effects, the asparagus itself.
yeah, that. Not the reason I don't like them.
Okay. Oh, I put the wrong title on the stream. We're not watching E Squared, we're watching The Council. Everybody queue up The Council. 30 seconds. Okay, I fixed it. It's The Council. You know, I think Archer's probably going to be on the Council, but I don't think the Reptilians are going to grant him the rank of Master. Everybody press play in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that plot. I forgot we were there. Archer's in the future, right? And they blew up San Francisco or something. This cut real quick.
And custom
very
piece on it.
I don't recognize this music. Is it only used for this recap?
Possibly.
You know, these recaps, since we're looking at stuff that happened in the past, so to speak, they should do that thing where they slow it down to 15 FPS and boost the contrast, drop the saturation. That same thing they did with the alternate Enterprise.
Well, that would be fun. Oh, they're doing it right now.
Is this the Celestial Temple? Is this where the prophets live? Oh, they're prophets! That's why they're non-corporeal, because they can't live in the universe.
Hmm. And only one of them is actually in the ancients doing the stuff.
Okay, now, question. If they live in an infinite white void, where did they get the materials, well, to build themselves, but also to make clothes?
Why
It's like
do
the guns
they
got
even
big.
wear clothes?
You know, guns, lots of guns. They have guns.
Okay. Or maybe that's just their bodies, but where did the bodies come from?
It could just be like Daniels has this little chamber that he does for the time stuff. It could be their chamber.
Maybe. I'm thinking once we get to the very end of Enterprise, after the final episode, we should have one more sing-along. Have a nice version where we're all synced to the Discord stream, so we're not all out of time.
That would help.
I just need to find a sing-along karaoke version.
Yeah.
I like how the Enterprise is still all screwed up. Huge chunks torn out of it. Jeez, I thought Vulcans didn't lie to Paul.
Yeah.
Physically incapable of lying, Spock said. Or was it Bones? Somebody said that.
You're the narrator. He was lying.
Yes, it's one of those lines, so to literally some line.
It's one of those lines where we say, maybe TOS isn't really canon.
Well, they lie in TOS as well.
Yeah. It's inconsistent. And when is Tucker gonna get over his dead hometown? Could you be more specific, Archer?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell him about the door you found? Guess who doesn't want to play his whole hand? What's the cameraman doing? He's just walking in circles around them.
Why do I expect this Janice guy to die?
He is gonna die. Did they give him a name?
Janice.
Okay, yeah, he's dead. That's how it works.
Did he only just get a name? Because yeah, that's
Yeah.
Oh,
We have the names for like 3 Makos. We have Corporal Chang, we have Amanda, and we have Major Hayes.
It just felt really red shirty, like, oh, here, hi, random guy we've never seen before. You have special skills for this mission.
In battle.
Yeah.
And now we know your name. Yeah.
It's like that episode of Discovery where they just suddenly had an entire episode dedicated to the backstory of the robot lady, just so they could kill her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It's just how it works.
And why would another power want to have any involvement in that?
They're just egalitarian. They're generous. They just want to help. They're like the
Sure.
Federation. They'd have no ulterior motives.
Sure, the Federation doesn't have ulterior motives.
Would it be? I mean, we don't really speak about Robert Oppenheimer with reverence. And it's not like people hate him, but
Maybe we would if they used his weapons to blow up aliens instead.
what a burn.
All the others in the are just thinking that he's siding with Archer because they look similar.
Well, that is exactly what they say to him in the council soon, I believe.
The monkey people are all the same, all the primates. He didn't have a hard time accepting it. He accepted it in like 5 minutes, Archer. One conversation. It was super easy.
Barely an inconvenience.
Thank you.
No, I think the reptilians are just going to do whatever they want.
They always do whatever they want and they're never punished. That's why they keep doing it. It's like, oh,
Yes.
those reptilians making bioweapons in the past. You jokers.
Little scamps.
They have to enforce discipline or they're just going to be spoiled, Degra. Wait, they're walking by the same guy. That was the same welder. Are we going to
Maybe they
get
did a
another
loop
shot of
around
the
the
same guy?
ship.
There he is. They passed him again. It's the same dude. I guess they only built one hallway for the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually they mix up the people, right? Instead of it looks like it's a longer hallway.
So the movie The Shining, they built this hallway, but they could reconfigure it into other hallways, like a maze, and they act like legitimately would get lost inside of it. But what would be cool is if they could reconfigure this hallway as the actors are walking through it, so they could like change it around while they're walking, and so they're continually walking in one big unedited shot. You know what I mean?
It sounds like it would be hard to do dialogue scenes with that, because that would surely be loud.
Well, I guess that's the challenge, is making it quiet.
ADR.
ADR. It looks like a Godzilla movie.
Composed.
Just bad lip syncing.
Yeah.
Well, they did that for an entire episode of TNG, Ensigns of Command.
Ensigns of Command?
The one where Data has to convince this colony to evacuate. The leader of the colony is completely overdubbed. That's not the actor's voice.
Yeah.
That's a different guy.
That makes sense because it doesn't fit his. Yeah, now that you mention it, that does sound about right. So, what did the original actor's voice sound like?
I don't know. I think he had like a southern accent or something, and they didn't like it.
I'm not leaving here. My grandfather died on that mountain.
I just know they weren't originally planning to replace his voice, and then they heard it, and then they did.
Oh, funny. Was it like Trip? Maybe he sounded like Trip. Hold your pants on, Android. Keep your pants on, Android. We ain't living here. My grandpappy made moonshine on that mountain, and I'm gonna make moonshine on that mountain.
That doesn't really sound like a Florida thing. If you're going,
It's an Appalachian thing. He's from Georgia. Georgia.
Trip's not. Who are you talking
Trip
about?
is from Georgia.
He's from Florida.
I thought his sister lived in Florida, but I thought he was from Georgia.
Nah, man, his hometown got
Then what's
blown
with the
up.
peaches? Oh yeah, I guess that's right.
So suppose he only. Well, I suppose Reed is a weapons specialist, but he's not really an engineer. Suppose any engineer type person here to actually examine the sphere.
Well, suppose all you need. She's a clever cookie.
I suppose they needed Tucker on the ship more to help with repairs.
Oh, is Hoshi getting kidnapped this episode?
Oh, possibly.
If she is, it's at the very
Hoshi.
end, because she has to translate for the council.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we get to see the skull. Which is decidedly not a bird skull.
Are the aliens extinct? There's no practical way they could have done them in at the time.
It's so dramatic. So do we go in, or... Some good camera tracking on the CG.
Yes.
Well, they fixed a contact lens.
So who all is here? There's 2
all
monkeys,
is
there's
here?
2 reptiles.
I thought
There's
you
2
meant
of
the
everyone.
Discord.
He represents, yeah.
I was gonna say your favorite meme poster.
Your memes trouble me.
Which one in particular?
The ones I delete.
Which one was that?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. Ah, but they have.
What does desperation smell like?
Aspiration, new fragrance.
Desperation perspiration. What do you, on his uniform, those little spouts that come out of his armor next to his head? What do you think those are?
Little spouts that come out of that.
On each
Maybe
side,
it's
there's
a
little...
communication device, or maybe it's just decoration.
I think one of the reptilians is missing hand makeup. God, careful, Degra. The insectoids are going to interpret that as aggression. Don't raise your voice. Okay, bye-bye. No, Hoshi, we do. What did he say?
Yeah. Love how there's several times and they show her, she just says, yeah, you don't want to know what they said.
Probably said something along the lines of that meme that got deleted.
To Paul. Doesn't look like a door.
And they
Is DePaul
died.
just trolling them?
No, you'll see in a second.
No, I know why, but she could just tell
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, true.
She could just say, it's a hologram, keep going.
Yes.
But that wouldn't be as suspenseful.
She's just a jerk.
I think she enjoyed that. Oh, is this the one where the Mako gets smoked?
Yep. Yeah, he got a name in this episode, so he has to die.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of backstory. Focus on the fish people.
Well, technically they're like manatees, right?
Well, they have arms. And that's weird for a fish. I don't know what they are.
Well, if you look at marine mammals and their flippers, they have finger bones. So it's not
Okay,
that
but
much of
these
a
guys have
stretch.
actual fingers.
Yeah.
But do you
But I'm
have
just
a
saying, like,
record of that
if they
video?
had a reason to have fingers, maybe they would,
Oh, there it is. That's a giraffe.
evolve fingers. Yikes.
What's the smoke vent?
What's the what?
Just
They have a
I
nice
think
little
it's
steam
their.
vent. Keep everyone.
It's an appetizer. It's where they keep their food warm and alive.
I thought they were just keeping their scales moist.
Maybe it's like a humidifier, yeah, to keep them just keep their scales from drying out so they don't prematurely molt.
come on, reptilians. If she's not willing to prove to you that they didn't build the spheres, then that means that they did. There's evidence against them. They have not given any evidence to defend themselves.
The absence of evidence isn't the evidence of absence.
They haven't provided. They've got evidence against them, so they need to provide evidence in their defense. That's the way it works.
The preponderance of the evidence can be weighed without any contrary evidence.
Precisely,
But
the evidence
it's
clearly
not-
shows that these people built the spheres.
I'm saying it's not looking good for
We
them.
got a confession from the dude in that probe.
They're reptilians. The skin is a bit hard to do that with.
You can probably flay a reptile.
A whole bunch of crocodile skin or alligator skin boots and suits and
Yeah,
upholstered cars and briefcases and suitcases.
you can
beg to differ.
somewhat do that. It's a lot more difficult.
It's like any other leather.
I suppose.
It's like any other leather. Alligator skin suitcase. They're not cheap.
You're the one who killed her, Degra.
Yes.
Well, he says that, but he killed reptilians.
Is that really killing the species? We can do without them.
Aliens' lives don't matter.
Reptilian lives don't matter. Oh my gosh. I mean, all lives are matter,
Yeah.
except for extra dimensional species. I'm not so certain if those are matter.
I mean, there are some light-based beings. Like the ones we get on Voyager. The
There's
pale
a light.
guys.
There's a light-based being in TNG, except it's actually just a dude in a skin-tight green suit,
Yeah,
and it's really obvious.
yeah, it's very obvious. Very, very, very obvious.
Here come the automated defenses.
It's a little slow to deploy. Surely it should have gone after them as soon as they got in the sphere in the first place.
Yeah. I suppose they don't care unless you're actually going to affect the function of the spheres.
They programmed them with dramatic timing.
They got some Borg thinking going on.
Yeah.
Archer, you sound like a crazy man.
True. Yeah, that is the point that India are part, well, at least were part of the Federation during that period of the Temporal War. Oh, who is she?
Very much deliberation.
Yes. Yes, we have. Commander Dolam.
Well, we've got some more evidence. Whether you want to declare it manufactured or not is your choice. You can verify it.
Do we still have the dude's corpse, or did it disintegrate?
It disintegrated.
Okay. Was that sonar then?
So how
'Cause
does
they
this
used the
work?
past
How are
tense?
they projecting a hologram from the ship?
Well, they used the... That was the transporter, though. But I thought they didn't have holograms until Deep Space Nine.
Oh, we see a holographic training probe.
Well, no, Degra, clearly they do, because it's here.
Ooh.
Dolam.
Boy, that reptile. What's his game? Why is he lying?
Right, if they're kidnapping Hoshi at the end of the episode, it's probably to buy some time for the plan, and don't want her expelled out of the way.
Why does Travis have a death wish, do you think? The shuttle doesn't have an airlock, but he's not in his suit. Oh, here he goes. Say goodbye to the Mako.
Yep. Oh,
Bye,
just
Dennis.
disintegrated later phaser.
How
It's
come?
only
How come they never
a-
encountered these claw machines previously in the other?
Because they've not
iterations of
attempted to
Interiors?
interfere at that.
Because they hadn't been written in yet.
Yeah, but also in the show, I suspect it's because they've not started taking things in the past.
Yeah, there was just
I
like
imagine.
someone put some bins in a little room. That was it.
I imagine that they had a grip in a green morph suit with a big green pole with a green tennis ball. He's like holding it up for them, to the actors, to like focus their attention on. Like, this is where the arm will be. Look over here. And then they edited all that out, obviously.
So what are those sparks on set? Because this isn't made of metal.
Roman candles. No, it's all MDF.
It looks good though. It looks legit.
I just did a Google for theatrical sparks. Perhaps.
Oh, Tucker's forgiving them.
Theatrical pyrotechnics sparks. Professional stage pyrotechnics. Let's see.
I still hate you. I was going to say Degra shouldn't be the one to help with this. He's not an engineer. But no, he literally is. He built a Death Star.
Yes.
He knows what he's about.
He built the Death Star. Wait, this is like Rogue One. He's like the guy that's on the
Galen
farm.
Erso, yeah.
Galen Erso. Thank you.
Sorry,
Played
Mads
by,
Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen, yeah. I always think of Mads Mikkelsen as the villain from Casino Royale.
One time, some guy was going like, he was repeating those Red Letter Media videos about the prequels. It's like, oh, do you even know the names of characters from those? Nobody knows the name of characters. It's like Galen Erso, Jyn Erso, K2SO. It's like, wait, what?
That's Rogue One, not prequel.
Rogue One is a prequel.
Not the, but it's not the movie that you think of when someone says the prequel series.
This person in particular was citing prequel stuff and applying it to Rogue One.
Okay.
Just anything that wasn't the original trilogy. Chirrut is the blind monk man.
Yes.
Well, they had to write a story in which all the main characters died at the end because they couldn't reconcile the fact that this elite force of special forces soldiers don't make an appearance later on.
They weren't really an elite force of soldiers. They were just like a few guys.
A ragtag bunch of.
They're a ragtag bunch of.
It's like the A-Team.
Covert fighters, so it would be easy to reconcile.
He's seen it. I like the little shaking that Dolim is doing. He's so mad.
Oh, is this where he gets stabbed?
Yeah. Bye, Degra.
Why live, laugh, love when you can stab?
Stab, stab, stab's definitely a more fun way to live. That is not my official position on the matter.
Well, that's just rude, Dolim.
You should at least let him watch the deaths of his family.
Well, yeah, what's worse? Dying thinking that they're going to be killed, or living long enough to see them be killed?
Well, unfortunately, Dolim doesn't really have a choice because he has to kill Degra now. His family's not here.
True.
I'm just saying, in general.
You can't get him in an Uber and have him come over. I just wanted to blow something up.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi.
You know, one thing I like about the beginning of this episode, when the sphere builders are in that all-white backdrop, it's a lot like in Deep Space Nine when they have the wormhole aliens. Like the Cisco has appeared.
Yeah, that that was the reference Ryan made earlier. Saying, are these guys the prophets?
Oh, okay. But also Q and Tapestry has that. Well, I mean, basically, whenever you want to show heaven, like even when Harry Potter dies and like Dumbledore sees him or something, you're in that all white.
Yeah.
But why would heaven be like pure solid white? That would be infuriating to live in.
It would be murder on your eyes. They're supposed to your eyes aren't
Why not
physical
just have
anymore,
like
so
a
it doesn't
nice
matter.
green and brown forest?
Yeah.
These depictions of heaven look like they're awful.
But you know, Harry Potter dies and comes back also. Happy
Also,
Easter,
you just
happy
unlocked a
summer.
memory for me. When I was a kid and still went to church, we were told that in heaven, all you did all the time for eternity was just sit there and worship God. And that sounds just...
Boring.
Something like that.
Yeah.
You're just supposed to
Well,
sit there and grovel for eternity?
Jews have a more boring one. They say heaven is like studying Talmud with God, and Talmud is a commentary on the Torah, scripture. So you'd be studying Bible commentary with God all day.
At least
even
you
more
get a book.
That'd be like studying fan fiction with the writer of the source material. That'd be like sitting down with George R. R. Martin. Yeah, and whatever.
Yeah.
No
As,
thanks. Sorry.
As a Jew, I just have to say, it doesn't sound so bad to me.
You don't want to study Lord of the Rings with Tolkien?
It's not Lord of the Rings. It's studying fan fiction of Lord of the Rings. It's a commentary.
Right, exactly.
It's not the thing itself. I assume. I don't actually know anything about this, but he said commentary.
Like just things that were written about Lord of the Rings.
There's that
analyzing
line,
Lord of the Rings.
needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
He said the thing. She said the thing.
The Marine Corporal died?
Yeah.
He had
Oh,
an
and Chris,
idea, and it was
Negan
Janice.
does play a reptilian, but not in this episode.
Oh yeah, he plays in the future, the Nazi episode. Back in
No, he
time.
plays... It's hard to tell, because the reptilian makeup's pretty intense. He plays one of them in Carpenter Street, where they go to Detroit. Except it's not Detroit, it's LA.
And they steal people's blood. Yeah.
Oh, traditional ultimatum, yeah.
Actually, George W. Bush said that line the day of 9/11. You're either with us or against us.
Same difference there.
Can he do that? Does he have that authority? Who is this guy? His title is Commander. He's not like the president of reptiles.
Well, he's the representative on the council and probably is given the powers for that.
Yeah, but
power
the
to
UN
negotiate.
ambassador isn't the king, of our country.
Yeah.
per se. Oh, but speaking of 5-member council, the UN Security Council is also 5 permanent members,
Yeah.
which is the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Russia, and China,
Yep.
until 1971, 3. The China was represented by Taiwan, and then everybody just agreed it wasn't going to be Taiwan anymore. It was going to be mainland China.
Well, like, our
that
representative
was
in NATO
probably not
can't
a
just
great
up and
idea.
say, the United States is withdrawing from NATO. We're out of here. Like, I don't think they have
I
the
think they
authority
can.
to do that.
I think they
It would,
Send a
it would
treaty.
depend on the situation. I'd expect that they would, under certain circumstances, have the authority to do certain things, and that might be included in it.
Yeah, but NATO's a treaty, though. You can't, by law, the United States cannot break a treaty. Like, the Constitution says...
I'm certain there's an exit clause from NATO. Let's see. NATO exit clause.
We ratified a treaty with
Yes.
other people.
There are
The
there are
withdrawal
most treaties you
clause.
have. You can't exit unless there's an exit clause. True. But there is
Yep.
almost certainly an exit clause in the UN.
So basically, after 20 years, we could just quit, and it's been well over 20 years.
Thanks, Robo.
Withdrawal clause.
I mean, we've only had international order for like 70, 80 years now, so let's not destroy that linchpin of international security and stability.
This is a really cool CG scene.
So basically, you just declare that you want to leave, and after 1 year waiting period, you're out.
Super easy, barely an inconvenience.
I mean, see, Britain has that same exit clause with the European Union, but it's just taking that much longer. Obviously, we're not in we're not in an economic agreement, but
Well, Britain did. The EU does have that exit clause, but the exit clause of the EU is essentially you can just leave if you want to, but you don't want to just leave, so you have to have a deal. In which case, that's what the issue was. You had to have discussions to come up with a deal or reach a deal.
Did the reptilians always have transporters?
They might have just been given them by the sphere builders.
I remember early in season 3 they boarded Enterprise, but I don't remember if they had to dock.
They did dock early in Enterprise earlier, yeah, I believe so.
Well, this is convenient that they just got it. All right, everyone queue up for the next episode. I suppose countdown.
Yes. And return to the beginning of the episode.
Yes. If you press play, it may or may not auto skip the recap, so just press play, let it do it, then manually scroll back to 0. And it should all work out.
Yes.
Countdown.
We also see them in the future. Her Archer is disabled. They go back, they board the Enterprise directly as well.
I have a question for the
Or
people
board
who
Enterprise.
are outside the United States. When you're cooking on your stove, are you using Fahrenheit or Celsius? Like when you're baking
Celsius.
Stove.
something? That's weird.
Gas stove.
Why?
It doesn't have either.
Range stove. What do you mean? It has a gas stove doesn't have? When you're cooking in the oven.
Oven has temperature, yeah. And the hobs don't.
Celsius.
I'm sorry, we don't have like.
Hang on, everybody get
typically,
ready to press
ovens
play in
and
5,
stoves are
4,
the same appliance
3,
here.
2, 1. Play on count door. Apparently is what I typed.
Do you not have that technology of a combined top oven?
Sometimes you have a stove that's separate from an oven, and like at my cousin's house, they have a gas range, and then off to the side they have a double oven like in the wall, separate.
Yeah,
appliance.
my parents have that. They have a stove and then they have an oven, whereas mine is combined. We have both.
Right. I think usually it's combined, but if you're like really fancy and extra, you have like separate.
If you're Martha Stewart or like you watch her and all that, yeah.
I have in the garage. I have a Viking gas and electric oven that does all sorts of stuff, but it needs ignition and thermocouple. I haven't gotten around to fixing it.
There's also unique music for this recap as well.
By the way, do you guys know that flux capacitor is needed for time travel?
What? I was turning up the volume and I couldn't hear you when you
Flux
said that.
capacitor is needed for time travel.
But time travel's
Uh-huh.
impossible.
I like how we
So
don't have the
saith
Vulcan,
the
Science
Vulcan
Academy.
Science Directorate.
It's the Vulcan Science Directorate. And we have Starfleet Academy. It's just not.
The Directorate is not an academy, it's a coalition of scientists who decide what is correct or whatever.
Oh, that's cool. If like scientists become a political party.
I swear we've had this prison set before for different species.
Yes. This is also
Tandarans, I think they're called.
This is pretty messed up. I don't understand how Hoshi's a member of the ship after this whole ordeal. I'd
She
be pretty
gets a
messed
few
up.
days off.
Wow. I like the episode though
Well,
where
after
she's
the Nazi aliens, then she gets a few days off.
I like where she's Admiral Forrest's girlfriend or whatever.
Oh,
In
Mirror
the alternate
Universe.
timeline.
Oh, in the mirror universe,
Yeah, in the Mirror
she's
Universe.
just whoever's girlfriend will let her rise to the top.
Yeah, but
That's
So is everyone
Empress
else.
Sato to you.
but I'm saying like the character's pretty messed up. It's pretty good that it gets a break. The character gets a break by being in the alternate universe because it's pretty traumatic. Hey Ryan, season 4, can we sing the intro?
No.
It was
I was talked about at the beginning of the stream. At the very end, after the last episode, maybe put on a sing-along version on the Discord stream, so we can all sing one final time in sync.
Okay.
it still won't be in sync.
At least
Closer
until
to
the
insane.
Enterprise movie comes out.
I wish.
The Enterprise reboot. Oh, if they do a reboot, what should they have for the intro song? Should they have like a cover of this? It's like heavy
No.
metal or something, or
Just don't change it. Just have it be exactly the same.
Just the original
I
version.
think they should go back to the first season version.
Yes.
That was superior to this version. They let's make it super upbeat and happy, and then the darkest season.
Almost the entirety of Star Trek.
The darkest season.
Oh, actually, if You of Hell was made an actual series, this wouldn't be the darkest series of Star Trek. But without it being made a series, this is the darkest season of Star Trek.
Janeway tries to
just
kill
say
herself
Year
like
of
a dozen
Hell?
times, but it's nowhere near as impactful as Hoshi trying it.
Year of Hell was originally pitched as an entire series.
Yeah, it was gonna be a whole season. Yeah.
Season, yeah. That would have been great. But they were trying not to be Deep Space Nine, which is like serial episodic storytelling. So to get back to the TNG format, don't even think about being a real TV show.
Yeah.
Look, you have to understand that at the time, the streaming didn't
No.
exist. Okay, streaming didn't
Uh-huh.
exist. So
We have to
people,
watch commercials. I know. I remember.
no, it's not about commercials. Would you let me finish your review?
Sorry.
No.
They were worried that people wouldn't know what happened last week, wouldn't remember, or didn't see it, and they didn't want people to jump in to part 7 of a 12-part story and not know what's going on. They wanted
that was the thing.
a single serving, self-encapsulated episode that anybody could watch and not need to know anything of the prior episodes.
Yeah.
That was the big concern. But now
just
everybody
quickly-
just binges 12 episodes in one sitting, so it doesn't friggin' matter.
But just strictly, in that scene, the doors closed and they sort of slammed and then reopened and slammed again.
I feel like this is the set where when Hoshi was. Sorry, go ahead.
His last name was Hawkins. Now we know his full name, Janice Hawkins.
His name was Janice Hawkins.
Doesn't matter.
His
He's
name
dead
was
now.
Janice Hawkins. His name was Janice. It's like Fight Club, remember? His name was Robert Paulson.
Nah, never saw it.
This is the same room
did.
where Hoshi was held kidnapped by the telepathic guy, and he was like, "I just want you to stay with me." And it's like,
The creepy
"Do you
dude.
want to live with me?" Yeah. And she's like, "I'll stay with you, but no, I'm not gonna live with you forever."
You didn't ever see that Fight Club,
Nah.
Ryan?
Good movie.
He's a little younger than us.
Good
It's hard to
movie.
catch up on all these classic movies.
No,
So-
one summer in high school, I sat down. I was like, I'm gonna watch all the classic movies, and I watched Godfather, and I think that's when I tried to watch Alien, and I watched a bunch of classic stuff. Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, that's a good movie.
See, I saw that, but I can't
just
remember a
didn't
single
get it.
scene.
Jeez, those are
You know,
classics.
Django,
It's the classics of the World War
Abridged.
II movies from 1940 years onwards.
I also watched
Shawshank
Pulp
Redemption.
Fiction. I
Miss
decided
Fuzzy
that
Redemption.
I hate
Yes.
it. It's the
But
worst
that's
movie
like
I've ever seen.
1980, World War II.
Really? You hated Pulp?
Hated Pulp Fiction.
But that's a good review because Tarantino and Frank, the Capella, who did Godfather and all that. Those are the classic directors. So it's good that you got a good overview. Ridley Scott or But
Alien.
still, there's so many because like I still haven't watched Last Tango in Paris with Marlon Brando. So obviously, like American cinema's so fast.
I wouldn't say that America has made a film in a while. It's just all commercials for the next movie.
I made a joke
2 hour long trailers for the next
once.
movie.
I want Ryan to upgrade everything to Blu-ray and just like work nonstop the way Hoshi has to for the next 5 episodes.
But it doesn't work. Like the upscaled stuff doesn't look as good as the truly rescanned.
Yeah, it never will.
First, the reptilian works her to death, then Archer works her to death. Like
It looks like
she's not even a person.
it looks like the girls on the dating apps that use Snapchat filters to get rid of their blemishes, and like the skin just ends up looking like it's textureless.
I
and,
love Smooth
oh,
Tuvok.
cartoony. Smooth Tuvok. Smooth Vok.
Yeah, I'd have to leave the ship if that was my thing, where the captain worked me to death like that.
Well, he doesn't really have a choice coming up.
No, he doesn't.
It's either force her to work when she's basically dying, or billions and billions of people die. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one.
Or
Yeah,
Hoshi.
Or her genius comes to really make her. Oh, sorry. I also like how in the alternate universe, Reed is the head of the Makos. Because
Well, I think the Makos are just rolled into
Starfleet security.
Starfleet.
Imperial security. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
Right,
have
it's
a
still Starfleet,
non-military
though.
exploration branch.
They are military.
That is the exploration branch. Okay.
It's not exploration branch.
To seek
it's
out new
exploitation
life
branch.
and end it.
And seek out new life and exploit them.
Like
Extermination branch. Exterminate us.
Something funny is that we steal the Vulcan technology, and like the beginning of most of Enterprise is humans being like, "Why don't you give us the technology we need?" And the Vulcans are like, "Nope, you're not ready." So the motivations are still there.
But these humans just wanted to like go and explore stuff. We weren't gonna shoot anyone with a shotgun. Probably. Unless they started it. Maybe.
Shoot them. Shoot her! Shoot her!
And
So
the Aquatics have the best ships of all. Sorry.
Today isn't the birthday, right? It's Crucifixion Day? Easter?
Today is the day that he rose from the dead.
Oh,
After
it's
3
after
days.
Good
Crucifixion.
Friday.
Okay.
Good Friday is the day he died.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was
Except he
executed.
didn't really,
So really-
die. He cheated.
Well, see, he didn't really exist in the
He
first place.
respawned.
Whoops.
No, he probably
respawned.
existed.
With no items in his
No, there
inventory.
really isn't any evidence of his being an actual person.
Well, I mean, there were no birth certificates back then, so there wouldn't be evidence like that.
There's mountains of evidence that it was just a basically plagiarized story from other contemporary religions in the region at the time.
There's definitely influence. But speaking of influence, I feel like, see, these 5 Zindi, they are just discount regular Star Trek species. Like, not for nothing, reptilians or Cardassians. The
They're not
Insectoid are
discount.
kind
They're
of-
way more expensive. They're full CG.
Yes.
But also the Insectoids are kind of like even the Spear Builders, they look like the Borg sphere for a minute.
You keep saying spirit builders.
I said sphere. But
Sphere builders.
Is their water dirty?
I want to
Or
talk.
do they just like green?
I want to talk to the dodecahedron builders. Okay, those are the guys I want to talk to.
they have dodecahedron cubes in Voyager Borg. The pyramids are dodecahedrons, right? The diamonds?
Are they?
Yeah. They have
Isn't
12
dodecahedron?
Did that dude get in trouble for stabbing Jesus? I don't think that's allowed.
No, you know what? He converted to Christianity later and became a saint.
Okay, but did he get in trouble for it, though? You can't stab the prisoners.
No, actually, it was a kind of a mercy killing because when you're hung up by your wrists, your body weight pulls you down, and then your lungs start to sag, and you suffocate from your own body weight. So it's a really gruesome death. So actually, I think it was kind of like.
First of all, crucifixion wasn't a form of execution. Oftentimes people survived crucifixion. It was a punishment, not necessarily an execution. And not only are you hung through your wrists, not the palm of your hands, but also they break your legs with a big mallet. So if you do survive, you're cripple.
Yeah, but it says in the scripture that his legs were not broken. They skipped that part of his.
Yeah, I know.
They're skimping
What a
out on
shame.
the torture. Cutting corners.
Because the book of Isaiah says not one of his bones will be broken, not one. So the Christian interpretation is that, it prophesies the Messiah wouldn't have any of his bones broken. And that prophecy was fulfilled in the New Testament. It's
Wait.
part of the.
Now I have more questions. Like, did they try to break his bones and it just like bounced off, or did they not
No,
They
they
just
try?
didn't. I think they were like, he's already dead. There's
Yeah.
no point.
Very good, Robo. Robo knows the New Testament. Yeah, they had the mallet and everything to break the legs, but they were just like, we're just skipping this part. I think it does mention that their motivation was that they're like, he's already dead as could be, so we're not going to break his legs.
All right.
Nice one, Hoshi.
But I like how in D6 Science Cisco dies and is supposed to come back too, So I think because when Ryan called him Space Jesus, I called him, he's kind
He
of
is
like
Space.
Muhammad because he receives revelations though from the prophets. He is a prophet himself, like the emissary, the messenger. But the dying and come back thing is kind of cool because we don't know when he's coming back. He just is.
Archer's a little Jesus. He's presumed dead multiple times and then comes back 3 days later. Sometimes he goes to the future. Sometimes he's kidnapped by Nazi vampires. I keep saying zombies. They're not zombies.
They do
No,
look
Archie
a bit like
And
them.
Archer is a predestined figure in many ways in this
Yeah.
show.
He's the savior of the galaxy.
It kind of is.
What?
But like he's also willing to die for his crew, like multiple times, like anytime.
It's funny the duality of importance in Star Trek because you got these few figures like Archer who are critical to the advancement of the storyline, with Archer literally founding the Federation. And then you've got those 7 million people who apparently made zero difference to the timeline.
Yeah, we don't need it. They were from Florida.
And it's interesting to compare that with Doctor Who, where the Doctor says, in all of my life, I've never met someone who is not important.
Right.
Well, this isn't Doctor Who.
I know it's not. This is an interesting comparison.
On another religious note, how many religions are confirmed true in Star Trek? Because I know the Greek gods are real. Or are they Roman?
Klingon religion?
Same thing. Klingons, Greeks.
Bajorans.
The Ferengi.
Bajorans.
Yeah,
and the
Bajorans.
Bajorans.
I don't think the Ferengi are
Ferengi,
ever
yeah.
confirmed.
No, they go to
There's a
heaven.
whole episode where
They
he
go
was
to
in the
the heaven.
divine treasury.
But that was just
They
a
go to-
dream.
No. The
Was
last
it
part was
though?
a dream.
Was it?
The beginning part was not a dream. They were in the divine. Quark was in the divine treasury.
Gene Roddenberry wouldn't like the idea of of trying to confirm fictional religions in Star Trek.
We get the Cybok thing, but he's a false god.
And yes.
You could say the same thing about the prophets. You can say the same thing about
Prophets But but look, their orbs, orb of time, they pretty much are de facto deities.
But they're not. They're
Oh.
not gods. They're just godlike beings
What's the difference?
that are worshipped as gods. I understand. I understand. But the point is, it's not really. It's not really a supernatural being, is it? It's just a very, very, very unusual.
Here's the other thing, though. In
real
fiction, right?
being.
When you have all these things like the hero never dies, that is some kind of divine providence. You don't have to say God.
I googled Star Trek gods, and the first result was Tim Russ.
They've got some nice lip fluctuation on that reptilian there.
Yeah, that's true though. God was killed by the.
So like the prophets and the prophets and the god of Shakari are on the same level by that logic. Your review, yeah, they are.
Because look,
that's where the question comes. What makes the god a god?
You can say the pirates.
But the pirates and the prophets are the same
well, maybe
thing.
not canon. Quetzalcoatl exists in one of the games. He's a god.
So that would be like Zoroastrian dualism. See, religion and philosophy, the boundary kind of, and metaphysics, it kind of blurs in. So, Star Trek's just an expression of, like Jean-Luc, right? When they're in Nagilum, Jean-Luc says, "I believe there is more than."
What about the tapestry afterlife? What about the afterlife
that depends if you count Q as a god.
Yeah, I didn't even bring up Q, but Q is confirmed as Loki, by the way. So you could put Valhalla in that. Q, like in the Q Continuum series, right? I know novels are beta canon, but those authors, Judith Reeves and Garfield, they also wrote the last arc of season 4 of Enterprise. So they're like very much tapped into by Paramount to be like the brainchild of Star Trek. But Q is the trickster god of every planet.
It is weird that a show that like tries to be hard sci-fi sometimes has so many deities in it. There's a lot of gods.
Yeah, well, that was never the intention. It was just because
we know the Vulcan
writers got lazy.
Patra is real, so that religion is real. Thank you very much.
That's not a religion.
That is what. Please.
It's not a religion.
It's a soul.
You're talking to a religion major. Like the rituals of Ponfar and everything.
Well, Ponfar is just them making things weird.
No, but why is there a ritual of like death matches and stuff? It's religion.
No.
When they're drinking from the same cup, Spock and
the lady who doesn't matter,
Valeris, Kim Cattrall, like that is a religious metaphor, of sharing the same cup. Sharing food itself becomes religious through Christ's Last Supper. Everything's religious if you want to look at it a certain way.
Or Hoshi.
I religiously use the bathroom in the morning. And I flush religion down the toilet.
I respect your...
Don't have to be rude about it.
I respect your lack of beliefs. It's fine. You should never force it on someone.
Sometimes I have to force it.
But Star Trek is great because we all can unite around that.
Absolutely.
Damn, that's a large aquatic ship.
They had the
it
best
looks
ships.
Almost Dominion-like. I guess that the ships have to be big to hold all the water.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, their water looked so dirty. They need to clean it up. It was gross.
They like it that way.
It looked like they're covered in algae.
Yeah. Oh, doesn't this guy die later, Colonel Hayes?
Yeah,
Yep.
he'll die.
Yep.
Okay, I thought he already died.
No,
Nah, he's fine.
but his death is coming soon.
Sorry.
I think next episode.
This was kind of intense, this scene, because it's like their chain of command does conflict.
And you failed him, Reed.
It's very hard losing someone under your command, I imagine.
They're standing really close together. Their faces
Yeah,
are
no,
like a
they're
foot away.
Kiss.
Yeah.
They're gonna
They're about
kiss.
They're about to kiss. They just had to edit that out.
They just start making out. Rick Berman's like, yeah, yeah.
Mako and
Yeah,
out.
stroke his ear.
Porthos.
Yeah.
Boo.
Good dog.
But Porthos
Porthos
in the
is
alternate
staring at Archer.
universe
come-
is
all right, look,
this junkyard
this is-
dog.
This is his senior staff. How come they never have Phlox? Maybe they just don't want to see like Phlox open up his third stomach and like, we're trying to eat here, man. Puffs up his face.
This is the captain's dining room. It's not the senior officer's dining room, is it?
Yeah, but it's always Tucker, T'Pol, and Archer. Like
You're here at the captain's invitation.
90% of the time.
Well, because
Or
Tucker
foreign
and T'Pol are
ambassador.
his friends. He doesn't really care about Phlox that much.
Foreign
think-
ambassadors.
They don't hang
so
out.
he's like,
Sorry. For the...
huh. I didn't want to make it
You-
weird, so I'll just.
What are you drinking, Archer?
Like he only allows his intimate co-workers.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're making it weird.
No, I mean there's
See,
like-
because Archer and T'Pol had a thing, but now Tucker and
No.
T'Pol have a thing. So is it kind of
Yeah.
like a hot wife scenario here?
no the
They're
captain
just
is a
friends.
professional.
People can be friends.
Like
Yeah.
Tucker is so Tucker is the one that brought his father's warp engine to life and always had faith in it because the Vulcans were trying to say the engine was fundamentally flawed, and Tucker was saying there's nothing wrong with that engine. So like to have a reliable, intelligent engineer at your side, I don't know. I think they're thicker than blood, and
So
T'Pol
how-
also.
How long have they been in the Expanse? It's been like a full year, right?
Yeah.
And they still have
9
beef
months.
left over to make steak with?
I think it's just the captain's privilege to get that beef. That's a
I
really
hope their
cool.
storage methods are better in the future because you freeze beef for a year, it's not going to be as good.
Yeah, they solved ice burn, freezer burn.
Thermal chamber.
I think nitrogen freezing is the latest thing because, like, I like third wave coffee. I hate to say, but so the latest thing is they cryogenically freeze your coffee in nitrogen gas, and then they ship that to you, and so therefore it's as fresh as it was when it left the roastery. It comes in a puck.
Is it a
hope
vacuum
this-
desiccated cork? Is it a puck of vacuum desiccated cork?
It's ground coffee,
Hmm?
but like third wave.
Yeah, but you just had, so you said that it's frozen in liquid nitrogen, probably under vacuum, right? So it's just it's
No.
exactly what the Ferengi do to their remains.
No, not liquid. It's just
No,
air.
no.
Just
Well,
nitrogen.
if it's frozen, no,
It's
it's liquid nitrogen that they freeze stuff with.
no, but I guess, yeah. I mean, I'm not rich enough to buy that. I just brew
That's
my
a
own
large
coffee.
Hanabe as well, just to carry
Yeah,
the enterprise.
huge.
Right after brewing the coffee, Cometier's coffee scientists put it into a liquid nitrogen bath, which freezes the coffee to an Arctic minus 321 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't need to look it up because that's the only way you could do freeze something with nitrogen, but yes.
Seems a little extra. It seems like you
Excessive.
could just ship people coffee.
I mean,
No, it's better. Flash frozen.
yeah, exactly. Although I remember eating nitrogen frozen ice cream from like the Science Museum here in Queens. It just tasted weird because they suck all the air out.
That's
of it.
different.
Yeah,
That's different. Well,
that's the thing though. Like I saw someone do that to like ice cream, just pull out all the air, and like by volume, it just pulls up so much. And it
yeah,
doesn't
because
stop.
most commercial ice cream products have a bunch of air whipped into it to
Yeah.
save cost. It's called
Yeah.
overrun.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to. We got a couple shots of Enterprise flying by the aquatic ship. I'm trying to figure out the scale here. It looks like the aquatic ship
Like-
is 2 or 3 times bigger than the D.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because the Enterprise came out
Maybe
of
you're
the belly.
D.
Don't make it weird.
We had a lot of that last time.
It's just that Hoshi is put onto one of the ships and she was previously on the weapon itself.
Let's
No,
see. Let's see
actually,
if
they
there's
control
a
the weapon
scale.
from the ships.
Let's see if there's a scale picture of the Zindia Aquatic next to a Galaxy class.
Memory Alpha says it's 1,800 meters long.
Oh, it's much longer than the Enterprise D.
The
Isn't
D
the Enterprise D like
is
630?
That was 400 or 330
kilometer or so.
Yeah.
Still,
641 meters.
Mm.
Thank you.
So the aquatic ship is approximately 3 times the size. Yes, good estimation,
Three
mate.
times the length. 3
Yes,
times
3
the
times
length.
the length.
Volume would be different.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the regular shapes like that. You'd have to just know the volume of both ships.
But good job.
Now, would
on
you rather be
34.
in a Galaxy class or would you rather be in an aquatic ship?
Well, the aquatic ship is filled with water, so it doesn't sound ideal for my dumb primate lungs.
Yeah.
But there's cetacean.
There's a room of walkable space.
Also,
The
there's the Galaxy
Cisco
X.
has spoken. It's not linear. It's not linear.
No, if you Google Galaxy X, you just get pictures of phones.
yeah.
Huh.
Galaxy
Didn't
X,
used
I'm
to
pretty
be
sure,
the
is just the
case.
Galaxy with the extra gun on it and a
It's
nacelle.
got the third nacelle. It's got these big torpedo launchers behind the observation lounge. It's got
these
phaser
2 little
cannons on either
arms
side
sticking
of-
out of the bridge with
Deck
lasers
2.
on them.
Yeah, they're phaser cannons, but yeah. And then there's the big Borg Buster cannon on the bottom, which makes me wonder, can it still separate? Because it looks like all those systems integrate the point where like it could no longer separate.
No, not the.
I mean, why would you put the
Oh,
Borg
no,
Buster
the
cannon
water.
on the saucer
Oh.
section?
I appreciate
That's
that
really
it was that water was initially liquid and then it froze as it got into space.
That's amazing
this-
CGI.
There was a
wouldn't-
phase transition.
Probably
there.
wouldn't, would it? It would
though?
boil instantly, not freeze.
I don't care. It looked cool.
Whoa.
But you know it would boil. It wouldn't freeze.
Still look
It can-
cool.
It would just be a big cloud of steam.
It can freeze and then instantly sublimate into plasma.
But space isn't cold. Like everyone thinks space is cold. Hollywood thinks space is cold. Space is not cold. Space is very, very hot. Space is like 5,000
Well,
degrees.
That depends
But
on
the
your
problem is
definition.
that there's there's only one particle. There's only one particle per cubic meter. So the definition of all right, so because there's no medium for you to dissipate heat into, space is hot. The only type of cooling in space there is radiation. So
Yes.
that's why spacecraft have liquid metal radiators. Like just a satellite has to dissipate all of its heat, so it has to have a big radiator, and they use liquid metal because it has greater heat capacity than like other coolants. But I digress. Even the space shuttle, when it's in orbit, it had to have the doors open because the inside of the doors were the radiators. So like it couldn't just orbit with its doors shut, even if it had nothing in there. It had to be open.
So there's
He
only
might
one
die
particle.
here, actually.
Yeah, he's gonna get shot mid-transport or something.
Oh wow.
But Hoshi's okay, and she's the one that matters.
Oh yeah, he gets shot right as he's transporting, and then when he gets here, he like collapses on the.
Yeah, nobody else has that fate in Star Trek. I guess the transporters aren't smart enough to block out the particle at that effect. At that time.
She got shot and she's fine.
Maybe it's because Reed's. Who's that? Reed at the transporter?
Tucker.
Okay.
He got shot. She got shot in the side, not. He's gonna get shot right in the
flesh
center.
wound.
He should use like a flashbang or something.
Yeah, he got shot right through.
Twice.
Yeah, that
Bye,
was.
Reed. Not Reed. What's her name? Hayes.
That was painful too.
Hey, look! They took the Enterprise's exercise machine and they've turned it into a weapon.
I thought that was a gyroscope. Is that
But
a
they have
weapon
one in
bit or
the
is it a stabilizer
Enterprise's-
bit?
Yeah, Travis. Just because you're given a line this episode doesn't give you the right to speak up. Like, don't ask questions. Take us right through those anomalies.
Where'd they go? I don't remember where they go from here. I know Enterprise has to go and shut down spheres and stuff.
Yeah. It's funny that the reptilians, upon realizing that the sphere builders are in fact the Guardians, just go along, hey, yeah, we still want to destroy Earth. These people are still worth listening to.
Yeah, I think, like, speaking of religion, actually, when the Zindi homeworld was destroyed, the sphere builders like saved all of them, like, and guided them to like new planets and new jobs, basically. So that's why they consider them gods, and because they saved them as a species when they didn't have a homeworld, they literally believe whatever they're told, and that's why when she tells the reptilians, hey, we're going to promise the new timeline has the reptilians in charge of the Zindi, they believe them. Like, they got them wrapped around their finger.
No, that defibrillator is actually strikes me as really dangerous because holding them it makes your hands quite close to the chest.
It's fine. He's a professional.
Well, how does the defibrillator see? They're not connected to each other, so how does it complete the circuit?
The circuit is just completed automatically.
It's a wireless connection.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It does now in the future.
You gotta run it. You gotta run current through his heart, right? So you've got one pole.
You think in
one
such 21st century
other,
terms.
but they've got to be connected to each other.
Wireless.
It could complete the circuit in 2 directions across the chest,
Well,
which would be odd.
it's
But
completing the circuit across flocks.
Maybe there's just a
He's
really,
gonna
really
shove
thin
it.
wire that you couldn't see.
Oh, that's it. Yep.
Like,
It's okay. Earth will be fine. They have that little defense fleet. We saw it in the beginning of the season. They don't need you.
just kind of emotional because he never liked the alternate security chain of command, but now one of theirs died for one of his. And it was the second time, right? Because somebody else, another Mako had died before under Reed. Something amazing in real life for both the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. The soldiers do multiple tours of duty, like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tours of duty.
Wait, are they going to do that really generic cliche thing where they say, I need volunteers, and they all step forward?
Yes.
Yep, there it is.
Yes.
Fantastic.
But, like, adjusting to real life is kind of hard for a soldier coming back from a war, so they'd rather go back to a war zone where their buddies are than, like, just pick out cereal in the aisle at Walmart.
Why wouldn't you bring all of them along?
Because you can only fit so many in the shuttle pod, presumably.
We have 2 shuttle pods.
True.
Pack them in, make them sit on each other's laps.
You can fit more of them in the shuttle pod if they're a liquid.
Perhaps we could dismember them. It would make them easier for transport.
Oh, so that thing they put in her head with the tranquilizer gun was parasites? So disgusting.
Yes. They injected it straight into her brain.
Probably one of those truth snakes that they put down Captain Pike's throat.
Or I was thinking the slugs that Khan uses on, what is it,
Same thing.
City Alpha 2, 3?
There's an awful lot amount of brain parasites in Star Trek.
Yeah. TNG conspiracy was the biggest. Changeling threat. You gotta love the reptilian computer interface, though. I know someone said that before. But it's truly unlike any other foreign language, alien language we've seen on Star Trek. This is how treacherous the reptilians are. Even when the insectoids develop a conscience, the reptilians are like, lock weapons on their ship.
It's treason. I think
Do any of
Commander
the
Dola
other
might be a bad
reptilians have
guy.
those little... Do any of the other reptilians have those little things sticking out of their collar?
Keep
The
an eye
brass
out.
wire. There's a art made from the World Trade Center steel beams that survived the wreckage, including a cross and stuff. So it's kind of cool to see the metal being turned into a memorial.
What's
And
really
the-
going to be cool is seeing that weapon get all blown up by Jeffrey in the next episode.
Yes. Say goodbye to the weapon.
We don't need a defense fleet. We have Jeff.
Doesn't he get demoted for not stealing it?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. He's here. He's fine.
Earth does have a defense fleet. It's just like two
It
ships.
just doesn't show up in this episode.
And true. But we see that they had like three ships in the previous one.
So I binged Lower Decks, and I
Yes.
liked the appearance of Jeffrey as the
Yes, the evil computer.
Yeah.
sentient evil computer. Why don't you plug me into that console over there? I can help.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Of course
You
it was
notice
great.
at
It's
the
Jeffrey.
at the very end, where they're putting them away in storage, and all those things come online, and one of them has the CBS logo as the eye of the evil computer.
Cute.
Is Hal there? Hal's probably there.
I didn't see one. I didn't see it.
I'll look up a
I-
picture
I-
in 10 seconds. but
I slow mode it and freeze framed it and looked at each one to see
Everybody
if there's
press
any
play
other
in
references.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
A lot happens in this episode.
Yeah, we have to wrap up the
There's
season.
some spheres and there's some skin conditions.
Slavery of Hoshi.
It's a unique piece of music each recap as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very fancy.
Enterprise is the best music, I think.
I should go
of the,
rewatch Lower Decks.
It's
Landrew
okay.
apologizes.
No, I'm
Oh,
saying like
Andrew.
we get a lot of. Each episode gets a really good soundtrack, and we don't have that with post TNG season 3.
There's 1080p image of it, Ryan. There's no HAL, unfortunately.
Oh, what a shame. There's some cyber power PCs though. I think that some of these look like an Xbox.
The one on the looks like a NVIDIA graphics card in the upper left middle.
Upper left middle is a combination of 3 directions, and I don't know how to parse that in a 2-dimensional image.
So like not the top row, but the row, the first complete row, and then the fourth one in from the left looks like a 3080.
But I love this shot.
yeah, kinda.
'cause
The
you gotta
first one
put
in
it
that row
your
looks like
mouth.
the Xbox to me.
Looks like a what?
Xbox.
That's it. I think the one on the
Yeah.
fourth row down, second in, looks like the Imager logo with the top. No singing. We should have like a shock collar on ear review, and every time we start singing, just give them a shock. It's called negative reinforcement.
I think it's generally been agreed that negative reinforcement doesn't work.
What's that?
We don't do negative reinforcement anymore. It's all positive
Well,
reinforcement.
what do you suggest? We can't give him treats every time he doesn't sing.
Okay, I'm gonna self-mute and get some water.
No, I'm just kidding. Ear review.
If I could get
I'm looking at.
like a cookie or something every time I didn't sing in a show, that'd be great. That'd be some good positive reinforcement.
You'd get big though.
All right,
Well,
I'm gonna
you
get
can
some
just
chocolate.
eat slightly less the rest of the day.
Well, the problem with positive reinforcement is that if people see they get positive reinforcement for doing the basic things, then other people start doing the bad things to try and then get the positive reinforcement.
I still think we needed an episode of Deep Space Nine where you had all of Jeffrey Combs' characters in one episode. All of his Deep Space Nine characters. That would have been cool. Brunt, what you call it? The one guy that
Brunt
wanted the
FCA.
hologram of. He wasn't always FCA. He got fired.
Acting Grand Nagus Brunt.
This arboreal.
Yeah, creepy dude.
Wayun.
He's very
And the
Planet
creepy
of the
dude. What
Apes.
else did he do?
You know,
He
like
had at least
sci-fi.
one other one, right?
I
Sci-fi
think so.
always tributes to other sci-fi. I whenever I see him, I see Planet of the Apes. Like,
So creepy dude was
He had-
named Tyron.
He had the guy on the street in the Benny visions.
Yeah, the cop.
Like the cop. Fascist cop. There was one other guy that has forehead ridges. That's not the creepy dude. Every character played by Jeffrey Combs. But it might not have been Deep Space Nine. So.
He plays Penk in Voyager. He makes Seven be a gladiator.
He plays a Romulan in.
Well, the credits at the start of the episode give away that Shran's going to appear.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Does
I
it
was
say
looking
Shran or
at,
did it just say
Ryan.
guest starring Jeffrey Combs?
It said Jeffrey Combs as Shran.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it says Strand in small letters on top. Ball has a little more blush on today.
Oh, now you're motivated to Paul.
It's a Trillium D.
Now that Vulcan's in the firing line.
It's just the Trillium D.
Sphere 41. Why does that sound familiar? Is there something else in popular culture that's something 41?
It should be 47 because that's the top and direct number.
Not section 31, though that's similar.
Yeah, 51.
What if we just ram it?
Do basically nothing.
Perhaps this is a good day to die.
No, but we can fly inside the sphere and ram the core.
With a chatterpod, I suppose.
Is this continuity in my Star Trek? I thought Hoshi should just be fine by now. It's the next episode. Hoshi, you literally tried to kill yourself by jumping off a ledge. I think that counts. Hold it together, Hoshi. What if we drug Hoshi? If we drug her to get her to work, might be able to
Get
get
some
it
more
done.
of those parasites.
Right.
Why she got like what's that on her forehead? Kind of
Those are where they injected the parasites.
Yikes!
She's got wormholes.
Yikes! Big yikes! Like an apple.
Now, why does having fewer codes mean a longer firing time? Who
That is
programmed that into the system?
Probably to give time for the other two. No, that doesn't make sense. So it's deliberately to having a majority.
If the weapon's already there about to fire, you're kind of committed at that point. Just fire.
Hmm.
Those are some good stickers. Can you buy Zindy stickers? Get a decal of the ship. No, I don't see any. Dang, look at Rick Worthy here though. Dude's got 5 belts on.
That's instead of having rank pips, they have belts. That's how that works.
Or maybe he's just a really good wrestler.
I mean, like an old timey
Oh, God,
boxer.
Daniels.
Yeah. Plays up with belts.
What do you mean you don't have time for it? He could put you back exactly where you were. You've got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Go and take a
Yeah.
nap. It's a little odd that everybody in the room is CG.
Yeah.
The animation on them isn't quite there.
Here's a question. Is Trip in the audience at this point?
You
There's
should.
no way. Let's see.
No, because he's dead.
But you don't know that.
Yeah, we
It
do.
hasn't happened yet.
He's not dead. That's not true.
He is dead. What do you mean?
Yeah, that's a dumb decision.
God, imagine being able to. Someone can objectively identify you as being unimportant. Objectively, you don't matter. And if
And actually
Hoshi's
don't
not,
put it
who's
off
like
his
the
work.
smartest person on Earth, what chance is there for the rest of us?
Yeah, Star Trek takes an interest in take to random people.
She just
Yeah.
put all of her points in language, okay? That doesn't make her the smartest person.
She can learn a language in like a day.
Yeah, she took all the synergizing feats and stuff, put all her points into language.
Yes, technically in
That still
D&D
takes a
you can
lot of
learn
intelligence.
a language in 1 round. In 6 seconds.
There you go.
In fact, I think you could learn up to 3 languages in a round. Because if you level up and then take a feat that gives you linguist.
You know, you guys were complaining about the song before. I remember when Enterprise was like live on air the first time, and I didn't like the theme song, you know, so I can kind of see why, like, they thought sprucing it up a little bit would help people tune in a little bit better, like episodic.
They're like,
television.
oh, people don't like it because it's like a jingle with lyrics. Let's make it even more of a jingle. Let's make it more poppy, more upbeat. Maybe they'll like it then. We'll take everything people don't like about it and we'll increase it by like
Yeah.
a factor of 4. Let's see how
Yeah.
that goes. I don't understand that logic.
No, I can agree with that, but what I'm just letting you know that, like, I mean, I can't speak for all Star Trek fans, but it was just new, it was unfamiliar, and you know, people are very neophobic to anything new or what they're not used to. So
I don't.
um,
think it was about it being new. I think it was just about it being not well received in general. Like it just.
No, but
I
in
don't know.
hindsight, it's a great song, and it was perfect the way they did it. But you know, like I
But
said,
Archer's theme is way better for the intro.
No, I prefer the song.
I mean, like the whole thing about Archer having some kind of providence, like it really is about engines and mankind's quest for exploration. So it's like, you know, like the way Magellan went around the world, or Vasco da Gama discovered the Cape of Good Hope. Like he really is an explorer in that mold.
So, like Hoshi, does everyone else have a blanket right now? I've got a blanket.
It's nice and warm here, so now I'm in shorts and a t-shirt again.
No, but I have a bowl of rice that's hot off the stove. So
Nice.
I'm cool.
And you're gonna wrap yourself in rice?
No, I just keep it in my lap warm. It's like so hot that I can't even eat it.
Sick as a dog? What's that mean?
That's a common expression.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense.
I'm not saying it makes sense, but it's a common expression.
It doesn't make sense, but it just means like you're so
It
sick
definitely
you've lost
is.
weight.
Maybe it's an Americanism.
Yeah.
Because dogs are sick, bro.
I think like like the funny thing is that I learned because of evolution, animals and cats and dogs have longer snouts, so their sinuses are bigger. But we have really squat faces, so our sinuses are not capable of holding that much. So we inherently get so much stuff in our sinuses because you know we have these stupid flat faces. When it would be so much better if we had a snout.
So the anomalies instantly destroyed multiple other ships, but the Enterprise, but Enterprise is doing okay.
They polarize the whole plating. It's fine.
But
It
that's
did
how we're
change
sick
the
all the time
lighting,
with cold.
though.
which doesn't really make sense because it's applied to the outside of the ship.
It's affecting the circuits in the interior lighting system. All the lights are Wi-Fi enabled. They're like those Philips Hue bulbs. And it's just messing with the Wi-Fi. That's me. Sometimes I just watch sci-fi and people talking about, like, oh, I've never been to the homeworld before. It's like, oh, I live on the homeworld. I get to be here all the time.
It's
Yeah.
funny on The Expanse. Can't remember her name. Like seeing
Miss
Earth,
Expanse?
because she's from Mars.
Bobby?
No,
Or
other
Abersola?
Expanse.
Oh yeah, I never did watch The Expanse to figure out if they actually meant the asteroid belt near Jupiter.
You need to watch it. It's a good show.
I'll get around to it eventually, probably, maybe.
I learned Robert Picardo is in Stargate 1,
Yes.
SG-1.
And Atlantis.
Mm. And then if you didn't know, Patrick Stewart was in the original Dune from like 1979 or whatever.
Yes.
He was in a Dune movie, yes.
Minor role.
He played the character that what's his face, Josh Brolin plays in the new one, I think.
Gurney,
Gurney.
the security guy.
Yeah. Even though Patrick Stewart hates sci-fi and gave his fellow Shakespearean thespian a whole bunch of grief for leaving to do Doctor Who?
I mean, if you're a Shakespearean actor, sci-fi is trash.
Shakespeare's trash.
No, Idris Elba is also part of the Royal Shakespeare Society. So actually, you know, everybody sells out and goes to television at some point, right?
30 kilometers per hour is nothing in space.
Yeah.
I'm
They did say they
surprised
had to fly the ship on thrusters only, and it looks like there's a lot of
Yes.
drag.
I'm surprised the Enterprise can actually go that slow.
Well, they can't use the impulse engines. They have to use those
True.
stupid little course correction rockets to drive the whole ship. Oh, we did see before they could like reach into the warp reactor and screw it up. I don't think we saw that before. I don't remember them having telekinetic powers.
Yeah, these are really
Imagine
bad
being the
guys.
actors and having to take this seriously. What do? Just lean over and stick your hands in the thing and
Mhm.
and just
Finger
look
paint.
serious while you're stirring stuff around.
No, but it's pretty amazing because like Zindi, Suliban, these guys, Spherefield and Suliban, they have to move exotically. Like I just realized, for example, that in Discovery, Saru, he has to wear those heels and walk like a gazelle all the time.
Yeah.
And that's just because, and for some reason, it never clicked before that his species is just
It's-
more like deer-like.
It's the opposite of heels. It makes you walk on the tips of your feet instead, like your toes, the balls of your.
He walks
your
on his
feet.
hooves.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess.
but if you look up the hoof shoes, because it's a thing that existed before Star Trek Discovery.
Mhm.
It's not. There's no heel. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
and a long time ago I saw people who play basketball that are trying to strengthen their legs. They have
Wait,
shoes
Jeffrey,
like
it's
those
Jeffrey.
to increase their vertical leap.
Great uniform made of leather.
All right, now where's the Vulcan fleet? They're here to help too, right?
Yeah.
Some of your friends just choose not to go to war when you decide to go to war.
Vulcans are fair weather friends. Humanity's in trouble, they don't do nothing about it.
It's like Germany and France during the Iraq War. But Great Britain supported us.
That's what makes them great.
It makes them good friends.
Terracycles.
Australia too. So that's Tony Blair right there. So funny thing is, Tony Blair is a liberal. So in the UK, liberals got the heat for the Iraq War, not the Conservative Party.
To be fair, what they consider liberal and conservative versus what we consider liberal and conservative are very different.
True, but also Tony Blair is a very centrist liberal. He's famous for copying Bill Clinton's triangulation strategy, whereas like you're liberal, but you try to get all the right wing voters that you can, just by being as moderate as possible.
Well, left wing or right wing, Jeffrey's got my vote.
Oh, Jeffrey's a friend no matter what.
Also, can someone put out that fire behind Jeff? Do they have an extinguisher?
No, he had a dramatic line to deliver.
He owes me.
What a great line. I don't think any villain in Star Trek gets that line.
He's not a villain though.
He kind of is.
I mean, he's
Who,
he
Jeff?
sometimes plays the role of the antagonist, but Usually,
Like even now, right? He's sent to get the weapon for himself, right?
No.
no, that was a different episode.
Oh, that's already resolved. Okay, that was for
Yeah,
the little weapon.
he
This is
tried
for
to
the big
take the
weapon.
probe because he was ordered to, and he wasn't happy about it, but he had to do it. And then he tried to make up for it by giving them schematics and stuff.
Yeah, and then he was safe with the Vulcan ambassador, right? Or like
The-
he made
the-
peace with them.
Oh, yes.
Just
that's
because
it.
you're the bad guy doesn't mean you're a bad guy.
Yeah.
Thanks, Satan.
This
I mean,
is
Satan
just
seems like a
role.
pretty chill dude.
Yeah, and Judas, by the way, there's a theory he was just doing what he was being told to do. He wasn't even a bad guy.
It was staged. They're like,
Yeah.
dude, this is gonna go so viral.
You're right.
I do love the designs of all the ships in this show, other than reusing a certain ship. But
Yeah, we're getting some great CGI and soundtrack, mind you. And great bad guys. Like Star Trek has a problem of bad guys because like
what
Star
did
Wars
they-
has better bad guys.
I would guess what they did for the lighting in this is they just got like semi-transparent pink film and covered the light bulbs in it.
hmm.
Or the light fixtures. Because that would also make it as dark as it is.
Those are called light gels.
What about this is a Phantom Menace, by the way. Fighting on multiple levels.
Same bridges and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking for little spritzers on that guy's armor. I don't see any. I think it's just Dolum. Yeah, just Dolum has them.
He has seborrheic dermatitis and needs to be sprayed down regularly, otherwise he gets flaky scales.
Enterprise couldn't even afford the shot of throwing the guy down the thing, the Mako guy. Come on.
In the next season, we're going to figure out that dude had a clone and he survived the fall down the reactor shaft.
I guess they gave us to the reptilian. He was falling down the
I'm still not clear on if episode 9 Palpatine is a clone or if he's the same guy.
There is another. Man, they're really messed up. They're all radioactive.
So you're saying you're not sure if he somehow survived the explosion of the Death Star and the fall down that giant tube?
Yeah, because the dark side is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. It's totally unclear.
Can we all agree that Palpatine used Darth Plagueis technique to conceive Anakin?
Yes,
That's intense.
that's basically
I
implicitly
love how,
said.
I love how they destroyed all the spheres though, because
Okay,
it
apparently
looks
in the novelization of Rise of Skywalker, he is a clone.
Yeah.
I mean clones are in vitros are technically anyway.
So
But,
that could be why they wanted Grogu in Mandalorian was in the Timothy Zahn they're creating a clone of a Sith Lord, not the Emperor, but a Sith Lord in general. And so I think that maybe Mandalorian's tie-in with the Skywalker saga is that the reason why
They
they're
could
after
have a
Grogu is to
clone
make the
army
clone
of
the Emperor.
tiny dark side Yodas.
oh, by the way, sorry to speak over you, but Hoshi's to Paul and the Bridge Crew's radioactive makeup is just a mud mask. It just looks like a regular old facial mud mask that you can buy at the CVS.
Sure, why do you keep trying to kill yourself? You're almost as bad as Janeway. Let someone else do it.
Because he feels guilty. He's trying to absolve himself of the guilt he feels for something. I don't know.
Yeah, all the other crew members that died under his command. Yeah.
Let that Mako kill himself.
No, he's not okay with that.
He doesn't even have a name. Who
Ensign-
cares?
Ensign Cutler or
Like, I think he truly loves Trip, you know, and Trip lost someone so close to him. I think.
Okay, so someone mentioned this earlier. Is that prop actually the Romulan mind? Because it does look very similar.
Possibly.
I'll have to
This-
come take a look at it.
This
It
set is
definitely
very
has
much
stuff
like
to
Let's see. What
Nemesis.
prop?
The big gyroscope in the middle of the room.
They
It's
made a
gone
really
now.
good spinning thing. Yeah, it's destroyed now, but it was spinning really good. I just realized like they had it electrically spinning pretty in multiple directions.
Why is this guy in a dress?
That's his.
It's
He's
a
in his-
robe.
Yeah,
it's a
bathroom.
formal
So
dress.
Who does he think he is?
that
Hefner?
is such a funny outfit.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Look, if you're gonna call him out on it, Jesus wore a dress.
Yeah, the like Louis XIV high heels were invented for men. Okay,
High heels were for riding horses.
just whatever it is. Like it was rich men wanted to look taller, and so they needed a pair of heels.
It was literally to grab the stirrup better.
And now it would be like scandalous, you know, in some circles for men
Yeah,
to wear
and
heels, but
Dresses like that are easier to put on. They're breezy.
Yeah.
They help with the
And-
heat.
all kind and they're also very martial if they're thick. You know, they can stop a sword from cutting through.
Chinese shoguns wore dresses.
If
The
anything,
dress has been very
pants are
popular
tight.
historically.
You know, pants are tight. They ride up, you know, and they block your comfort.
I'd love if there was some like Kirk moment here, you know, like he picks up a big rock and says something like, "I have had enough out of you."
No, he's gonna make a cannon with the diamonds and a piece of bamboo and some charcoal.
Great music though.
Oh, Ryan, put the TOS fight music to this.
It already has music.
But put the TOS the TOS fight
Uh-oh.
music.
Whether that's
Archer,
possible will
Reptilians
depend
also
on
have
how
red
they mix the
bloods.
audio
Dun, dun, dun,
channels.
dun, 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 dun.
Archer just like
Like if
blew
the-
somebody up. Point
Yeah, it's
blank.
fine. Oh, look at that. Oh, God, this is the same thing we had in the first episode of the series.
Yeah.
Yeah. The exact same thing.
Oh, there's North America. I can see my house from here.
I appreciate that the fragments of the weapon go off and straight away from the center and not
Yeah.
starting to fall into parabolic arcs.
I like how my house was center frame on Earth.
But they both go. They should go outwards from the center of the explosion, but also still slightly head in the direction of the motion. They would all have different arcs after the initial explosion.
This is really emotional though, because we all love the captain. Hey there,
So the
Mark.
sphere builders were defeated now.
Yeah, I guess.
By the way, they all should be dead because like radioactive poisoning is not a joke. Maybe to Paul.
It's not radioactivity. It's like, it's a different kind of space.
Okay.
It just looks like radiation damage.
Uh-huh.
It's like phuletic space.
All right. Just if I see someone like that, it's time to say goodbye.
Does she?
Like an oil painting. I'm not old.
How old are you?
She's 66.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a very early 2000s conversation. You can't ask a woman her
Yeah.
age.
You've been liking her. By the way, it's not hard to look up someone's age.
He could check her Vulcan records, I suppose.
Yeah. Or
But
like
that would
just
be a
regular
massive invasion of
personnel file.
privacy.
No, I mean a regular personnel file wouldn't have it. Like for example, I'll say this, right? I'm a public servant. You can request the salaries of any public servant, and their pay, because like what is their title and pay, because we work for the public. So it wouldn't be too much of a secret, like what her age is. If you're a fellow military member and you just look up their regular bio.
So apparently
But
Teddy Roosevelt as a child wore dresses. As did FDR.
I mean-
And Teddy Roosevelt is like the stereotypical manly man
Mhm.
president.
He led the Rough Riders in Cuba.
And
During
he's
Spanish
played
American
by oh god, who was it? In Night at the Museum, who plays him? Robin Williams, yes.
Wow. Rest in peace. Oh, by the way, rest in peace, Captain Archer.
Well, for now.
Oh, but
He's fine.
speaking of which, at this point, we had found out the show it was being canceled, and they probably rushed the arc a little bit. And so it kind of sucks working for a show when you think it's over. Fortunately, like a fan writing campaign had successfully convinced Paramount to go for season 4, and we got the Birth of the Federation. But the show was not living up to the ratings that, for example, TNG had.
What if we just brought in Michael Dorn to play a character?
Well, Wolf is coming back in season 3.
He didn't sacrifice anything. He's fine.
He did, though. He died.
Isn't he like in the alternate future right now or something?
No, he's in an alternate past. He's in,
Yes,
right
yeah.
now in World War II. In New York, I think.
Yeah,
Except it's actually Los Angeles again.
Mm.
Well, actually, it's the Paramount backlot again, but
It's the,
Still in
probably
Los
where
Angeles.
they filmed the Benny flashbacks scenes.
yes, exactly the same place.
And
You know,
maybe
something-
also the Bell riots.
You guys brought up Georgia before. A lot of movie making and television making has moved to rural Georgia just because of tax benefits,
Tax
And-
benefits, yeah. And they. Go ahead.
but also like good weather and amazing landscape of gorgeous eastern forests.
Yeah, a lot of TV shows are filmed in Georgia, but they did that in Detroit too. For a while, they had incentives to come to Michigan, and then they got rid of
Vancouver,
it,
too,
and everything
like
went
the-
away.
Star Trek Beyond and stuff was all out of Vancouver, which is kind of cool. The Kelvin
Only time to
trips.
heal that. Not even any moisturizer or something.
Yeah, I would be using a head of a lot of moisturizer.
I think they're not worried about their cracked skin.
She looks worried about it.
It's more like the captain's dead.
I don't like this emotional, like
The puppy.
wistful T'Pol.
Yeah. Look, even the puppy is like messed up.
Talking about herself.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
she's come so far. She hated Porthos episode 1.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, because
Full.
they had that weird thing where Vulcan females have very sensitive senses of smell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And apparently Porthos was offensive.
Aw. She still has that zombie look in her eyes.
He wouldn't miss the world for the world.
Also, it's kind of like Voyager returning home. We never really.
Oh, wait. Open a channel.
It's good to be home.
Or
There's no
is
place
it?
like- There's no place like home. There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
This
So
is
right now they
such
think they're
a-
being ghosted by Starfleet.
Yeah. This is such a moment killer that it's just gone, and then you're not going to get that moment back after you return from the past. It's just that feeling of elation is gone now.
But the Xindi Aquatics just dropped them off like a minute ago. We saw them come out of the aquatic ship. Did the Aquatics also travel to the past?
Yeah, that's a good question. At what point did they cross the temporal rift?
And did they send the Aquatics back?
Why did they just send the shuttle pod rather than
Oh,
scanning the
it's San
surface of Earth?
Francisco. Yeah, I don't know why they wouldn't scan.
This is such a great scene. Do we get World War II fighter aircraft in any other Star Trek series? Why do I think Voyager gave that to us at some
I
point?
don't know what year it takes place, but we get an old style aircraft in TOS when they
Yeah,
travel
we-
back in time somewhere.
We get
Yeah.
the fighter pilot who beams over to the Enterprise and
It's
sees
not
Yeah.
World War II era one. It's a
60s.
60s,
jet.
70s, yeah.
That was a fun episode though, because it's like, do I see a UFO? It's like, yeah, it's us. But bullets against our shuttle pods, that's pretty funny.
German grammar's weird because that guy technically he said
Yes,
he was
that's good.
yesterday here brought.
yes.
There he is, the Nazi vampire alien. All right, and in 6 months we'll get the next season and we can pick up with the show.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, chat.
It's
That's
the
a lot of
end
people
of
say.
season 3.
new video in the next episode.
Next episodes are going to be Stormfront Part 1, Stormfront Part 2, and Home. We finally get to go home. After the Nazi vampires. A couple more episodes. So yeah, that'll be April 24th. Next Sunday. Same time, same place.
Yes,
We'll be
and
here.
Home sets up the whole xenophobic plotline.
And it also gives us a little more romance to Paul and Tucker.
But then we get some Brent Spiner the week after.
Oh yeah, I don't really like the Augment episodes. I feel weird.
Hmm.
They look just like edgy teenagers. Because that's what they are. They're
Oh.
edgy teenagers.
Oh, in fact, it's perfectly set up because the 3 weeks' time is the entire 3-part episode.
Yeah, that's... I was specifically... And if you scroll forward in the event schedule, there's another 2-episode day, Daedalus and Observer Effect, so that we get a 3-parter, Babel 1 united in the Enar.
Right.
Those have to go together. Then In a Mirror Darkly, part 1 and 2 are together. Then the 3-part finale, Demons, Terror Prime, and These Are the Voyages. The real finale, then the fake finale. These are the Voyages is fine, it's just not a good finale. Demons was better. And then, after we finish Enterprise, we'll have 1 week off, and then we'll continue with Voyager Basics Part 2. We're not going back to Part 1. We're starting with Part 2. Because that's where we were at when we stopped. Just have to really hope that recap works.
I mean,
may not join for this.
well, it was designed for people who hadn't seen the first part in months, so it should
Should
work.
all work out. All right, we're done here. Stream's over.
Bye.
Be gone.